Welcome to the Foundry by Forge College. Okay, let's jump straight into this explainer. We're essentially going on a detective mission today into the wild, fascinating world of smart wallet debugging. We're putting on our trench coats, grabbing our magnifying glasses, and digging deep into end-to-end testing for your ERC-4337 integrations.
Now I want you to picture this. You've just finished building out your shiny new ERC-4337 smart wallet. You hit compile, you run a test transaction, and absolutely nothing. Or even worse, you just get hit with a massive wall of red error text. So what happens when your smart contract breaks? What do you actually do? Well, you don't panic. You become a detective arriving at a digital crime scene. You have to figure out exactly what went wrong, where it happened, and exactly which line of code is the culprit.
So here's our game plan for the investigation. We're going to start with the big picture, get your testing toolkit all set up, actually run the interrogation, build our case file, and then we'll wrap the whole thing up.
Section 1. The big picture. From pieces to the whole picture.
In our last module, we honestly spent a ton of time building out individual core parts, right? The scaffolding, the wallet contract, the bundler interface. But now we're moving from looking at those isolated pieces to interrogating the entire system. Think of unit testing like checking to see if a single puzzle piece is printed correctly. End-to-end testing, or E2E testing, is making sure the whole puzzle actually fits together to form the picture on the box. It verifies the entire flow. We want to be totally sure your components don't just work alone in a vacuum, but that they actually function perfectly as a team in the real world.
And here are the suspects in our lineup, the full ERC-4337 flow. We start with the user intent, we move to the wallet, pass through the bundler, consult the paymaster for gas sponsorship, and then finally, we arrive at the on-chain execution environment. If a transaction fails, one of these 5 steps is hiding the bug, no question. Our E2E tests are going to interrogate this exact sequence from start to finish.
Section 2. Your testing toolkit, the detective's lab.
Every good detective needs a lab, right? This is where we set up our specialized tools and a totally controlled environment so we can safely interrogate the code without putting real funds at risk. And the most important tool in our lab is a deterministic RPC fork. Let's bust some jargon real quick. Think of this as literally a snapshot of the blockchain frozen in time. Why is that absolutely crucial? Because predictable state is everything. If you're investigating a digital crime scene, you want that environment to look exactly the same every single time you examine it. Moving targets are a nightmare. A deterministic fork ensures your tests run the exact same way every single time. So, how do we actually populate this lab? We map out our test harness components. Think of things like the mock bundler and mock paymaster as flight simulators. I mean, you wouldn't test a brand new airplane design by loading it up with passengers and flying it into a storm, right? You'd use a simulator. These mock components let you safely crash test your code. They receive operations, they simulate the mempool, they decide sponsorship eligibility, all while a trace collector meticulously records every single detail for our reports.
Section 3. Running the interrogation, step-by-step testing.
Okay, we've got our lab, we've got our suspects. It is time for the execution phase. And I'll be totally honest with you, during this interrogation, things are inevitably going to break. Code will fail. But that's exactly what we want. We're breaking it here so it doesn't break for your actual users. Let's walk through the actual testing sequence. First, we set up our deterministic fork. Second, we deploy our mocks and fixtures, our flight simulators. Third, we build the user operation using the SDK helper from our previous scaffold lesson. Fourth, we submit it to our mock bundler. And finally, we assert the expected on-chain state. We're basically looking the code right in the eye and saying, did you do exactly what you promised you would do? Now, I know I just threw a term at you there, so let's define it before we get lost in the weeds. A user operation is simply a package. It contains the sender, the call data, and the gas or payment hints used in ERC-4337. Just think of it as a tightly sealed envelope containing all the instructions the blockchain needs to actually execute a user's intent.
To actually run this interrogation, you'd use a command like this to fire up the test suite against your local hard hat network. And here's a quick pro tip for you. This is an amazing place to use AI-assisted prompts. You can literally feed your integration checklist to an AI to quickly generate candidate test cases and help isolate root causes way faster. It's kind of like having a junior detective on staff helping you sort through all the clues.
But here is the million-dollar question. What if the paymaster just rejects the transaction? What if the test outright fails? The code is acting suspiciously, and we need to know why. This is where we have to pivot from simply running tests to actively reproducing failures.
When things go sideways, you need a reproduction script. This script lets a reviewer step through the failure deterministically. It's exactly like replaying security footage of the exact moment a crime happened. You can pause it, zoom in, and see precisely which piece of logic threw the error. You know, whether it was a signature mismatch, an incorrect nonce, or the paymaster just flat out saying no.
Section 4. Building the case file, the debug report.
Once we've caught the bug on tape, we have to build our case file, or in the dev world, the debug report. Look, a sloppy detective leaves notes on napkins. A master detective builds an airtight case file. Your debug report absolutely has to include a short title and unique ID, the exact failing test command and environment, the attached artifacts like JSON requests and traces, step-by-step reproduction instructions, and your hypothesis and remediation steps. This structured documentation proves we haven't just guessed at the problem, we've actually mapped the exact faults to validated fixes.
And to build that file, you must collect the hard evidence. We're talking bundler logs, paymaster logs, and RPC traces. Now, learning how to systematically collect and interpret these exact artifacts is a core skill taught in Forge College's advanced learning programs. Mastering this specific skill is honestly what separates junior developers from senior engineers. It makes the entire debugging process so much less painful.
Section 5, wrapping up. The verdict.
We've gone all the way from the big picture down to the granular logs, and it's time to summarize the core philosophy of our E2E testing detective work. If you take away anything at all from this explainer, let it be these 3 practical principles of testing. Number 1, user journey alignment. Your tests must reflect real user flows, not just isolated technical checks. Number 2, deterministic reproduction. You have to be able to recreate the failure perfectly every single time. And number 3, evidence-first debugging. Please don't guess. Rely on the hard evidence of logs and traces to validate your fixes.
Once you have a passing test suite and a verified debug report, you're officially ready for the next phase. Next up, we're going to use this passing suite and our AI-generated templates to measure performance-sensitive flows, like high-frequency transactions. We're moving from just making sure it works to making sure it's incredibly fast and super smooth for the user.
So, are you ready to close your first major case and truly master smart wallet debugging? Testing isn't a chore. It really is the ultimate investigative puzzle. I highly encourage you to visit forge.college to continue the investigation, dive deeper into these advanced Web3 topics, and explore the incredible educational resources they have available. Until next time, keep your code clean and your tests deterministic.